Welcome back to Bond SCX. This is week 10, March 7th through March 11th. This is Lance, the bargain stock bounty hunter, coming back at you again with another call out for plays of the week. This is a disclaimer I'll go ahead and get started with. I am not a financial advisor, nor am I advising anyone to spend their money. This is only for educational purposes and only my opinion. Any money spent is at the individual's own discretion and not due to any information from me. I'm doing this video alone this week. Dad has some other obligations, so we'll get it going, get it crack-a-lacking this week. So one thing I'll get started with, as I've been doing consistently over the last few weeks, is going over the Nasdaq and the NYSE. So as I've been doing lately, kind of covering what I've been seeing here, kind of go over some projections of what I saw last week, what I projected last week. So one of the things I was looking for, kind of expecting, I believe a lot of the investors were expecting for to see was a double bottom. So I've been talking about the last few weeks. And I mentioned last week was a very critical week in understanding if this market was going to swing back up, and we'll see that double bottom and an increase in a back upward bearish bullish motion, excuse me. But what we saw actually was a pullback, right? And so we see a pullback, and I really had it again, an outlook of a pullback down or pull up last week, because it was really unclear last week what the market was going to do coming into the week. And the week went kind of flat. You kind of look at, so this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, and you really see just a really flat price action and then a really big pull down on Friday. So kind of pull down really in the range that I expected it to. But what I also wanted to call out here is, since it did not pull up as I projected it could do, which was more of a historical pattern when you see a double bottom. It's really concerning that the market is going to continue to pull back down. So you see support here, which it bust through that support with the announcement of the war that kicked off. And so you got some support here, which is a bad sign. It comes down this far. So you're looking at the 13,000s range. But you could also see pullbacks again down to the 12,500 range. So one of the things on the MACD I'm looking at, and you see kind of a normal, the normal, I guess, pattern of when it goes from more of a kind of the buyers buying in, buyers selling out. When you see that pattern, you see it gets out of that range, and you see them kind of the lines of the MACD opening up, the convergence, divergence opening up. It makes me think the market's going to pull back down. You see the bars, the EMA projections in the future. You see those starting to pull down, turn down. You see the SMA start to pull down from the red here, which is the projected that it was on. And so I expect by Friday, the market will be in this space, low 13,000s, and it will either support here and fall some more and come back to this range. I believe it may fall and support here and come back to this range. It's very unlikely it could support here. And I'm doing this video on Monday, a little late than I normally do. So you could see support here and then pull back upwards, which would be a good sign if it did that this week. I don't expect that, but want to hope for the best that it pulls back here. I hope I'm wrong about this here. I really do. But it doesn't look very good. This cross didn't happen like it should, meaning the teal did not cross the green in a positive direction. kind of went over it just slightly, pulled right back down. I mean, Wednesday kind of teased the market that, hey, we might be going this direction. And you see on Thursday, a huge change in directions. And then you see Friday pullback. So not a good sign. I believe the war is taking a little longer than maybe investors expected. And so this didn't happen as you would think in a typical double bottom upward pattern. So expect some more punishment on the market this week. And I hope I'm wrong about the low 13,000s. Moving on to the New York Stock Exchange, even more concerning on this one, because as the Nasdaq was pulling down, the New York Stock Exchange seemed to not pull down as much. Here's another concerning issue. So I expected Friday for the market to be here. Again, hoping for another pull up. It actually fell down below that. So you see a lot of support here. It bust through that support with the announcement of the war. And now you see it came back and bust through that support again. And the more concerning problem here is the teal never even crossed the green, as you would expect it to for a pull back up. And so it looks like it got a rejection here. So I expect the New York Stock Exchange to be somewhere in this low 16,000 range Friday. So not a good look here on the New York Stock Exchange. So I would expect a lot of stocks to be a little more rangy this week, and a lot of opportunities that I want to pull out that we could definitely get in a lot cheaper than where the prices are today. So let's start with the plays of the week. What I found, not a lot out there. I do want to start with one called ViaSat. It is a satellite-based company. I believe they do communications all over the globe. Some news lately with them having some communications in helping out with the war, I believe in Ukraine. And so ViaSat's a company that I invested in not too long ago, kind of ahead of the war, with war talks. I kind of got in kind of early there. So I want to call this one out. It is moving at a trend of a 2, which is a decent trend up. It's $1.20 overpriced. So I want to show you what I'm looking at there. I believe you will be able to get in under true value this week. So true value is $44.42. And so let's go to the charts, and I'm going to show you what I'm seeing with ViaSat. So starting out like I normally do, looking at a 1 year, 1 day, and you can see how ViaSat has been pretty consistent over the last year. Its price action has been very stable, very predictable. Did see a huge bump in the price action, a lot of overvaluation of the stock for whatever reason, going back to September, and it reached a high of 68.76 in November. And then you've seen a strong pullback down and actually lost support. It's support that it had for a long time, early part of the year, or I'm sorry, actually in December, coming into the early part of this year. And so one of the things I like to see with ViaSat, and a lot of companies I like to look at, is how it reacts to its low price. And so it had a low that hit after earnings call at 39.13. You see immediately after that earnings call low, you see an initial pull up. And so what's happening is, and one of the things about the market, it's trying to find a balance and equilibrium. And so once it pulls down past that balance, again, which is typically, I like to look at the cake as that balance. We can also look at the SMA if it's not in the cake range as that balance. So it wants to find that balance point to tip the scale back in the other direction. And so typically after it falls below the cake, after it falls below the SMA, it wants to pull back into that range. And so And you see that happening here with this one. So it's a great opportunity to look into getting into ViaSat. So this week, kind of see over the last few weeks, it's been pulling up as I called out. One of the things I do think we'll see again, this one trades on the Nasdaq, as we see up here in the left corner here. As the Nasdaq pulls down this week, I think there's some opportunity to get in ViaSat. I think my price point, I like to see it is at 44.10. And so as it pulls down, I believe you can get in at 44.10. I do expect to see it by Friday, somewhere in this range of 45.72, 46.81. And so you can see how many times it likes to bump up against this trend line here. So you got 1, 2, 3, kind of a 1, 2, 3, falls back down, shows support here, actually falls through support here, which is an opportunity I think you may get. Again, it may fall through support, but I expect to pull right back up. It is in a bullish phase, still kind of low on the MACD. Although you do see a little bit of a pull down from Friday, not too concerning, but I do think you may see a little bit of a pull down, but I think we'll stay bullish for the rest of the week. So look out for ViaSat. I think it's a great opportunity to get in. And so I'm going to go in with ViaSat this week, as I said, at 44.10. So 44.10 is my going price for ViaSat. Again, that's below true value, good opportunity, and I believe it's going to continue to rise throughout the next couple of weeks. All right. Next one up on the list this week is Upstart. So Upstart is a cloud-based lending company. Hasn't been around very long. It is moving, again, very similarly to ViaSat at a upward trend of a 2, which is a decent upward trend. It is quite a bit on sale. So a little concerning here. That much on sale could mean that it is turning back down. But let's look at what happened and kind of opportunities here. But it's $5.90 on sale. So quite a bit on sale and a true value of $134.17. So let's look at the charts for Upstart. This is a very rangy, very manipulated stock. So you can kind of see it doesn't have a great kind of cake range. If that cake range is real tight, like you see, it's a clear sign that this is a very volatile, very unstable stock. So it's really hard to kind of find out where the price wants to be. And so the stock has been, and you can see here, within the last year, as low as $45.14, all the way to $401.49. So that's a very, very, very manipulated stock. And so one of the things just to be aware of, this one is really kind of hard to catch. But I think there's an opportunity that I'd like to point out this week. You can see the SMA, because the stock hasn't been around very long. The SMA hasn't, this 180-day SMA has not put out a lot of trend for this one. You do see the stock has been very, very bullish lately. So as I zoom in, see the volume starting to come back in. Look at this 1 day, 33.8 million shares on February 16th, which is the day after its earnings call. Looking at the earnings call was actually really good, with an estimation of 18 cents earnings with an actual of 89 cents per share earnings. So actually, the market for this has been pretty good. It's been very bullish again since the earnings call. So I think it's an opportunity to get in. It is below the SMA. Again, the stock typically wants to pull back into this SMA, which is the kind of equilibrium point, as I mentioned in the last call out. And so for this week, I would be very careful getting into Upstart. You see very rangy prices. And so you're looking at 1 day, the stock gained 26%. Another day, last week it gained 13%. It lost on Friday 17%. So a lot of volatility and price action on this stock, which again, true value here is at 134.17. I do believe with the trend it's been on, I believe it's a great opportunity in this week. This one trades on the Nasdaq as well. I believe with the range in this stock, I believe you can get in pretty comfortably at 109.20 cents, with a great opportunity for this stock to move back up by Friday into the range of 130. So you're looking at easily 20% in this week based on the pattern that it's been on. So again, a great opportunity for this one. So I think 109.20 for Upstart is where I'm comfortable going in. So 109.20. 20 for me. All right, moving on to the next one for this week. So those two are long-term plays that I just mentioned, just called out the ViaSat and the Upstart. From here on out, most of these are 1 week trades, day trades. And so Pfizer comes in this week. It's a great opportunity. The stock is moving flat, so it doesn't have a clear trend. And so as I put this up here, it is in the cake at 48.65, but its true value is $47.97. So it's coming in at 68 cents overpriced. But I do think it's an opportunity as I look at the chart. So let's look at Pfizer. Pfizer is in the medical field. They produce vaccines. If you have been living in a shell for the last year or so, you would know that if you haven't been living in a shell, you would know that they are working on vaccines and medicines for the COVID virus. So looking at, zoom back out real quick, looking at the 1 year, you can see the price has gone from $34.33 in the last year to $61.71 high. It's been very bullish, obviously, because of COVID. And so a lot of investors have been really priced this one up high. You can see as it gone above the cake, now it's pulled back down, and it's been supported by the cake. One thing I really like about this one, so it's been quite above the SMA for the most part, 99% of the last year, right? But look at what we see here. You see as it comes back below into the cake, you see it comes down within the last week, or actually last 2 weeks, it came below the SMA, pull right back, and it's ready to go right above the SMA again. So you see the EMA crosses the SMA down, and now the EMA is ready to cross back above the SMA. So on one side, you say, all right, well, it's falling below the SMA, it's going to lose support. And you do see it supported by the lower band of the cake here, which is nice here. It hits it 3 times, and then you see the pullback up. So I do think this one will at least, if it does pull back down, as we see it pull below the SMA, I do believe it will come back above and get into the range, up into the upper band of the cake, hopefully. But I do see this cross coming here. I do see the pullback here on the MACD. So I think there's an opportunity for this one to come up. At the worst case, it doesn't come up as high as you see the trend is going. And you can still get in here at 47.49 is where I feel comfortable with it, and still get out in this week with about a 1.5% gain at least. Best case, you're looking at a 3.5% gain. It's not a bad week, not a bad play you can do on Pfizer this week. So again, it started to pull up. You can see the last few weeks. It's definitely hit 1, 2, 3, 4 times on this trend. It's been supported 1, 2, 3, 4 times on the lower band of this trend. So it could definitely fall at least to 46.66. But I think I feel comfortable here for a quick day trade at 47.49 is where I'm going for Pfizer this week. 47.49. All right, moving on to the next one for the week. Ford came out as a great opportunity for this week. Excuse me. Another stock moving flat. It's 35 cents on sale, coming in at a true value of $17.20. So let's look at Ford and see what the charts are showing. I'm looking at what I'd like to see here. Ford's another stock that has been very, very strong over the last year, very bullish. You see a lot of over the SMA, support on the SMA. So you just see this nice, pretty upward pattern. You see over the last, since the market has turned down, you can see how the price has been pulled back down. And you see it actually pulled below the SMA for the first time in a long time on the 24th. And so another similar thing that we saw with Pfizer, we'll see with Ford as well. So one of the things that is a little bit of a concern, you'll see where, pull in a little bit more, you can see, a little hard to see here, but you can see the SMA, the EMA in the teal. And then you can see the projected EMA in the green. You like to see that cross to see it come back bullish, but you see it they're actually right on top of each other. And so it's showing a sign that it's going to pull back down. But you can see the trend here, not a strong trend, but you see the trend pulling up slightly, coming back into the cake. It's actually falling out of the cake range. And you actually can see on the MACD, it still wants to pull up and be above here. So I do think it's an opportunity to get in as this one trades on the New York Stock Exchange. As I mentioned earlier, it looks like it's going to be in more of a stronger downturn than possibly the Nasdaq. So I would expect that this one will come down, see support here, and then actually pull back up. So I think it's a great opportunity to get in Ford for day trade. Again, you can see the SMA here, and you see it pull below. The price wants to pull back up above it. So I would say I would expect to pull below again and possibly pull up by Friday. So you're looking at from here, possibly 6%, possibly by Friday. If you could get in as early as Monday and Tuesday, if it could come down to the 16, 19 range. So I would say for me, I feel comfortable with Ford at $16.19 this week. $16.19 is where I'm going with Ford this week. Next, and then last but not least, call out for this week is Kellogg. Kellogg, another company coming in flat. Excuse me. It's about 62 cents above true value. So a little bit overpriced. True value is $64.33. So going to Kellogg, looking at the charts. Again, looking at a 1 year, 1 day. I called out Kellogg before, I believe maybe week 1 or week 2. Kellogg has consistently been in the cake. Doesn't fall out of the cake very often, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Very consistent trading for Kellogg. Do see a steady upward trend with Kellogg going back to October of last year. But in this week, I do see an opportunity for this one. It is above on the MACD, could potentially come back down. But this one has been doing pretty good over a lot of volatility in the market. For whatever reason, Kellogg's doesn't seem to be too impacted by the market. So I do see an opportunity for Kellogg's in the pattern. It's just looking at some historical patterns on it. I do see an opportunity for Kellogg's to come down. And so you can kind of see, let me zoom back out real quick. The SMA just kind of moves kind of flat and kind of just rebalances itself with that SMA. It kind of looks like a kind of a musical pattern here, just up and down over the SMA. And the SMA kind of just pretty much moves flat through this price action. And so you can barely see it with all the lines I've got here, but I'm highlighting it here. It's green, kind of just moving right through the middle of all the price action. And so as it falls down, it comes back up with SMA, falls back through, comes back up. And so it just kind of stays in the cake, stays in SMA. It just doesn't move a whole lot. So I think an opportunity here. You can see it's definitely going to cross the SMA again this week. So I would say getting in at 63.75, which is a support on the SMA. I'm zooming in here, we can see a little bit. I feel like getting in at 63.75, again, which is support on the SMA. You can get out this week. So at around 64.61. So pretty predictable, pretty easy money here. Not a lot of money, but looking at 1.3%, pretty predictable. You really can't go wrong with Kellogg's this week, whether the market goes up or down. So pretty easy money. You can probably play Kellogg's every week with the same pattern. So I'm gonna call out Kellogg's this week at 63.75. It's my call out for Kellogg's. 63.75 it is. All right. So that's all the call outs for week 10. I do expect the market to be just as volatile as it was this previous week in week 9. And don't expect the market to move up any this week. If we do see a pull up, I'd be very surprised. I'm surprised, but more than likely the market will continue to pull down, and we'll hope for a better week next week or the week after that. So week 11, week 12, maybe the market will kind of get its bearings under itself. Maybe investors will start coming back into the market, and we'll maybe see the price start to go back bullish. If we don't see that pattern in the next couple of weeks, we're in for a rough ride going into April. So look forward to some more videos. I've got some more videos I'm going to still put out. I still have the Myth and Mysteries series that I have more episodes to put out. Got some more tips and tricks I'm going to put out. So look forward for some more videos. Go back and look at some past videos and some more previous call outs and see, hey, are my call outs worth the time of watching the videos? Are they not worth the time? So I've been pretty good this year with the call outs. And so you can go back and fact check me if you don't believe me. But I'm working on trying to bring the best information to you as possible. So stay tuned for some more episodes. Thank you for joining.